from Mr. Hero Hei. Google just deleted Pride Month. Damn. Isn't that like June when every corporation basically just pumps up rainbow flag branded, content, changes their logos and say, we care about the LGBTQ other letter, community. Because at the end of the day, they don't really care about, stuff like that. They don't really care about social justice or like marginalized groups. They just care that, hey, if we do this, then that group of people will buy our product. Because at the end of the day, money is the only thing that drives these companies.
Hey guys, so we're witnessing history. Have you heard about this stuff? Pride Month, Women's History Month, Black History Month, Google.
Oh yeah. Black History Month. Isn't that literally right now? We're almost halfway into February and I didn't even know. But I saw a Reddit post talking about, yo, did y'all know that it's Black History Month and there's been nothing advertised or, talking about it? I'm like, you're right. I mean, I don't know how prevalent that is. It's just my personal view of like seeing nothing really discussed about Black History Month, but it's like there's nothing, man.
Google has taken a look at these months and deleted them. They're just gone, erased. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just devastated by this news. I just can't live my life like this. I can't wake up.
Please detect the sarcasm here.
Knowing that corporations are not pandering to me. It's so over. The Guardian wrote about this, saying Google's online and mobile calendars are no longer including references to Black History Month, Women's History Month, and LGBTQ+ holidays, among other events. The world's biggest search engine previously marked the beginning of Black History Month in February and Pride Month in June, but the events do not appear for 2025.
Dun. And why is this happening? I think it's just because of the current political climate. There is a paradigm shift, a pendulum swing of things politically being very left-leaning, now being a lot more right-leaning with the outcome of the United States, election cycle. And does the United States politics and government, and the election stuff dictate how the world operates? No, but America is pretty fucking huge, man. And Google, Alphabet, is an American corpo. So a lot of these, corporations, their CEOs are really pandering towards Trump and, kind of align with his perspectives, right? If you saw Mark Zuckerberg, he's playing it very well. Mark Zuckerberg, he's been carefully crafting his brand, his relatability, rather than being a scaly, awkward lizardman who is so unrelatable that people think that he's not even a real person. You see his recent change, right? With the hairstyle. He got the broccoli hairstyle going, right? He got the sized t-shirt, the gold chain. He does martial arts and he's pretty sick at it. And even I find him way more relatable. It's been many months and years in the making. But also there was the podcast he went on with Joe Rogan, right? And you could kind of tell that he's still, lizard skin deep inside. But basically him and many others, right? Amazon CEO, Elon Musk, do I even need to say more about him? Everyone is glazing Trump because it's in their best interest, right? Corporations only care who is in power and how they can maximize money. If it wasn't their best interest to be very left-leaning and try to be inclusive and, speak out against, social injustices and ban people for right-leaning views, like shit used to happen all the time. Like straight up, Trump got banned on Twitter, Facebook, like every social media app. And now with him coming back, everyone is on their knees, basically kissing the ring. And the Google's no different, right? I think it's Sundar Pichai. I am not sure. Well, he's the CEO, but he doesn't have the ultimate power over, the corporation, the brand known as Google Alphabet. But that's pretty much it. Stuff like this, Pride Month, stuff like that. It's not really in that Trump camp, right? They don't really care about that. So if they want that shit gone from Google Maps, Google Calendar, I was thinking about the Gulf of America being, Gulf of Mexico being Gulf of America now on Google, which I think is so silly. That's what's going on.
Even go on to say, many users on social media have expressed disappointment and frustration with Google's recent decision. Following the changes, users who wish to track events such as Pride Month, Black History Month, and Indigenous Peoples Month must now manually add them to their calendars.
Oh no! Well, here's the thing, bruh. If you need Google to automatically remind you exactly what is happening? Like if you didn't even know that it was Pride Month or Black History Month or Indigenous Peoples Month, what does that say about you as a person? Like, this statement here makes it sound like you are so ignorant and lazy that you need Google to fucking have an official date put on the calendar, because if it wasn't there, you wouldn't have even known, and now you need to manually put it. There's like two sides to this, right? A group that is crying out that this shit got removed, but actually would need to be reminded from the beginning what it even was. Like, that's pretty silly.
Hopping over to Reddit, we can take a look at some of the upset users that The Guardian mentioned as they react to this news.
Here we go.
For example, this one that says, pretty clear that the Nazis have taken over America.
I mean, it says right over here, left libertarian. I've seen a lot of posts, comparing Trump and, that camp to being just absolute dictator Nazis. And you know what? With what Elon's doing, I don't blame him, but it's hard to have a conversation when the left side will immediately brand anyone that's not in their territory as just Nazis, right? Like, nothing gets done. Both sides are just so extreme in saying Nazi this, Nazi that, and the other side being, oh, cry me a river, liberal cook, and there's no conversation to be had. They just want to dunk on each other.
Another one saying, you always knew the rainbow capitalism was disingenuous, but it was a sign that we were considered safe to market to.
And there it is, rainbow capitalism. That's the perfect way to put it, bro. Rainbow being the flag, representing, Pride Month, right? And capitalism because the corporations only care about pandering towards your group to sell their products to.
They got a response that says, exactly, rainbow capitalism was so obvious and kind of annoying at times in a hello fellow kids kind of way. But rainbow capitalism disappearing is a canary in the coal mine to show whether or not we're worth being considered as a people to them. That's a really weird thing to say. Like, if we're not being directly pandered to, they're not seeing us as people. Yeah, that's not how that works. A company can still market to you like they would anyone. They don't have to directly pander to your sexuality.
I guess those people feel like their identity is the most important thing. Therefore, they view themselves different from the rest of the pack. Right? I guess cis, heterosexual people. Therefore, if they aren't specifically mentioned, like when we say hello fellow humans, would they be triggered by that? Because, hey, you didn't say hello, our identity of humans either. That's kind of like the entitlement, I think, embedded in these posts.
Really weird thing for that person to say, and it shows how obsessed they are with labels. And weird people like that, plus the amount of people who are just corporate bootlickers and shills and plenty who are doing much worse things in the LGBT community, are a few examples of why so many people in that community are now walking away from it, not identifying with it. That's
the thing too, right? The more unhinged you become and the harder it is to side with that group. I'm sure a lot of people in that LGBTQ camp have realized that this is kind of really weird, man. The way that you constantly feel the need to be represented and, constantly go out and make us look bad. I don't even want to be on your side anymore, even though I align with you in my sexual identity.
Comment that we're about to take a look at is an extreme self-report. Let's get the context first. So this user said, stuff like this doesn't materially matter. It was empty virtue signaling when they put them up, and it's empty virtue signaling when they take them down.
Yeah.
It does, however, feel pretty
That's fair. I think that the Cuddle Goop, this comment is objectively correct. It doesn't matter. It was empty virtue signaling. They don't see you as they don't care about you. They just see everybody as the same, and they just want to make as much money as possible. But to them, if they did feel like, if removing that stuff because it was supposed to represent them, yeah, I feel insulted too.
Insulting. And that's where we see this response that says, it does matter. Symbols matter because they shift public perception of what is acceptable. Lots of people, most people, have very little internal moral compass and basically just do whatever seems normal in their society. When people are surrounded by pro-LGBT messaging, it absolutely subtly influences public opinion.
That is true, but the self-reporting part, right? The self-reporting aspect about this, I think Cuddle Goop has a pretty level-headed take here, right? That objectively, none of that shit matters, but personally, I feel a little hurt that it got taken away. Nothing wrong with that. Melody Elf over here? Why don't you build off of that? Influence public opinion. You trying to do a brainwash?
Opinion. So yeah, like I said, extreme self-report. Because most people do have a moral compass, and for this person to think otherwise, it's really telling about them. Something else they don't realize is that the nonstop LGBT messaging from corporations did not influence public opinion in a good way like they're trying to suggest. It's actually the inverse. It ended up driving more animosity towards the LGBT community. And when people from that community, like the various users in that post, defend it, it only amplifies that negative public perception. That goes back around to all that bootlicker shill stuff. And as you guys know, it's even worse in gaming. Because when gamers would criticize some soulless AAA corporation doing some like LGBT pandering in a game, you'd get a bunch of shills on like Reddit, for example, calling all the critics alt-right Nazis. Anyways,
when they just wanted a good video game, right? And this is actually what we're watching right now. This is Marvel Rivals, right? I heard that it's actually a good video game with appeasing characters, right? Visually aesthetic characters rather than just random bullshit character art that just looks mangled and unattractive because they want to appease that audience, the modern audience.
I thought this comment in response to the news was also pretty funny. It simply says, "The disgust and fury that went through me when I read that. Oh, Google removed Pride Month from their calendar. Disgust and fury flowed through my veins." But yeah, like I mentioned earlier,
I mean, Reddit though is such an echo chamber. I mean, most places are echo chambers, right? But what kind of echo chamber is it really? Very left-leaning, right? Very left-leaning, echo chamber. And of course, they're going to start having a meltdown, and their perspective is going to be a lot more specific to that audience. And to a lot of other people reading this stuff, it must seem very unhinged to see a lot of support. But there's a lot of different types of people in the world, man.
There's also a split in the LGBT community, with plenty of people not subscribing to this sort of hive mind rhetoric and happily criticizing corporations and calling out pandering, etc., etc. Guess we'll see where things go. As for now, that's the end of this video. Consider liking and or subscribing.
And honestly, like it is totally fair, right? I think Cuddle Goop's comment is perfect way to summarize everything. That none of that shit ever mattered, bro. The corporations only cared about money. If you really thought that they cared about you just because they had their rainbow flags out just for 1 month, come on, you're better than that, right? Or maybe you aren't because you really fell for it and that's how they make money off of you. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. These companies are just banding to what is popular, to what is going to be better for their bottom line. And with the paradigm shift in politics, with Trump in office and everybody really becoming more open to right-leaning ideologies, of course, companies will also follow suit and try to do what's in their best interest. Please go check out Hero Hei's channel. Here's the link to the video. Go give it a like. I'll see you next time.